Hey, welcome back. In this video, we're going to focus on ls and another command called pwd, and I'm also going to talk about paths, absolute versus relative paths. But before we get there, I want to run through the exact specifics of what we'll be using the PowerShell for. It is a very powerful shell. As the name implies, there's a lot to it. We are just going to hone in on a couple of things. Navigating around, creating and removing folders or directories and files, and then executing Python scripts. For that last one, we will have to install Python first, so that will happen in the next section. And then we'll be using the command line, the PowerShell, alongside Python. But to start, let's just talk about the operating system file structure. So for some of you who are devout Windows users, this might be review, but we're just going to go through it very quickly. So operating systems, whether it's a Mac, PC, or something else, organize the content on the data on the drives in a hierarchy, a tree-like structure with parents and children. Think of a family tree. We're probably all comfortable with this idea at this point, just having worked with computers. You open up folders, you put files in them, you can put other folders, and it's this branching-like structure when you have nested folders inside of other directories. But at some point, there is the top-level root directory. And on a PC, that is the \. It's the root directory. And so we could describe every other folder or file on our machine relative to that \, to the root directory. For example, if I had two directories inside, one called program files, another called users, and then inside of users, I had another thing called cult, another directory, I would access cult, the directory, first by referencing the \, and then the next layer down, users, and then the next layer down, cult. But it's separated always with these \. So each layer through, I need to add a \. And you've probably seen this before. So to access this, the absolute path based off of my root directory is c/users/cult. Next, there's another special name for a folder. So we saw the root directory, the topmost level directory. There's also one called the home directory, which has a special symbol used to reference it, the tilde, which is usually above the tab key, at least on Mac keyboards. It's that little squiggly line. And that's a symbol that's used to reference the home directory. And on PCs, the home directory is your user directory. So not the users, but your particular user account directory. And actually, it's the default directory that opens up when you open a new terminal. So in the last video, we saw that briefly. I opened PowerShell, and I was already in this directory, the name of my account. So that will be different for you, whatever your username is, but that is your home directory. So anytime you open up PowerShell, you'll begin there. And if at any point you're in the PowerShell and you're not sure where you are, you can type this other command. So we've seen ls, there's also pwd, print working directory, and that tells you the full absolute path of where you currently are. So if I was in the stuff directory and I typed pwd, I would get c/users cult stuff. That's the full path that's printed out to me. So if you ever are lost and you need to know where you are, you can use pwd. Okay, so back in my PowerShell, you may not need to use pwd that often because by default the prompt shows you the entire absolute path. Okay, so I have a new shell open here. You can see it's putting me in the home directory automatically. If I type pwd, it's not that useful because we already see this in the prompt. On certain machines, other platforms, you may not see the entire prompt by default, so pwd is worth knowing about, but it's not that commonly used. ls, however, is really commonly used. So again, that means list, and that just shows the contents of wherever we currently are. So we haven't seen how to move directories yet. So I'm stuck in the home directory right now. I can type ls and I can type pwd to tell myself I am in the home directory, it's \users, \cult, and I can see what's in there. But that's it. So I will end this video here. In the next video though, we'll actually talk about the command to change directories to move around so we can really start navigating.